What's up? Next mic up, back again. And I got some great news. The NBA season is back on. The NBA must have watched my video. Yeah, right.
Psych! You thought!
They must have watched my video and saw, they were like, you know what? Got to get it together. We can't be like 1994. But we're going to go into detail about what happened and honestly see my opinion on everything because I think it's really interesting and I'm glad it's back. Okay? The NBA is inviting 22 teams to Orlando, 13 Western Conference, 9 Eastern Conference, 8 regular season games per team, play-in for the 8 seeds July 31st to October 12th. Votes tomorrow to ratify. The NBA's back. Well, the vote went through. The NBA PA, I think, was 28 votes were all yeses. Everything's on now, and they just got to come up to what's going on with the, you know, where the players are going to stay, what they can do, everything like that. Those little details. But the NBA's back, and we're going to get some pretty cool action that we've never seen from the NBA before, and I think it's super dope. 13 Western Conference, 9 Eastern Conference. We're going to see a lot of teams trying to get in the playoffs, like the Western Conference teams who got invited. Portland, Phoenix, New Orleans, and Sacramento.
DeMar.
Okay.
The more I say it, the less I like it.
So we're going to see those guys fighting for that spot, and, you know, I think that's really cool. And we're going to see something we've just never seen before in the NBA. 8th seed in the Western Conference, we got Portland, New Orleans, Sacramento, San Antonio, Phoenix, along with Memphis. And then in the Eastern Conference, the only team that got invited was Washington. I think the only teams that can be affected in the Eastern Conference are the Brooklyn Nets and Orlando Magic. Whereas in the Western Conference, I'm pretty sure it's as well only Memphis. I think Dallas pretty much secured their spot because there's only 8 games being played per team. So there's no way you can catch a team like Dallas or Houston or OKC in the Western Conference. But I think it's going to be really cool to see all these different matchups and see the playoff intensity kind of, and with all these games even before the playoffs. And I think it's going to really be interesting to see what teams do better because of the break and what teams get worse because of the break. Like, is a guy like LeBron going to be 10 times better with 2 or 3 months off randomly in the middle of the season? Are the young guys going to, you know, not have as much game time and everything like that to be as good as they could be, whereas you got a lot of veterans who know about the game and then can do those circumstances? So it's going to be cool to see these 22 teams battle it out and see what teams end up being the 16 teams in that playoffs, and if there is a play-in tournament, which we'll talk about now. Now here's Woj's information on the play-in format, which is going to be really cool because with the Western Conference, if a team is within 4 games of the 8th seed, then there will be a play-in tournament. So the 8th seed, whoever the 8th seed is at the time, has to lose twice to be eliminated from potential playoffs, while the 9th seed or whoever's lower only gets 1 elimination. So it's going to be really high stakes. We've never had in the NBA before really a one-game winner take all in just one game series. I'm not saying like in a game 7 or a game whatever. I'm saying like one game, that's all you get, and that's it. If you lose, you're done. So it's going to be like, we're going to see things that never happened in the NBA before. Like, we'll see things like Damian Lillard in really cool circumstances, Zion, like a bunch of cool Western Conference teams in these spots, most likely, if they can keep it close enough to get it play-in tournament. In the Eastern Conference, it would only be like the Nets, the Wizards, and the Magic. But besides that, I mean, like, we wouldn't really see that most likely because I think it's going to be tough. But Wizards could stay within 4 games of the Magic, but I think the West, it'll be a lot of teams that could be within 4 games of the 8th seed. So we could see like a huge play-in tournament, and we have no idea how that could go, but it would be really cool to see because it's never happened before. Now, with everybody being in Orlando, there's going to be no home team advantage, nothing like that. You're not going to get 4 games in a playoff series compared to 3 for the other side. So they're really trying to figure out what could be beneficial for a team like the Lakers or the Bucks or the Clippers. You know, some of these teams that could get an advantage against some of these lower-seeded teams. And I think some of these ideas are kind of like, I don't know, I don't really get them. They're just kind of like, why even at this point? I mean, it'd be cool if everyone was on an even playing field too. We could see that, like, nothing, but they kind of do want to reward those teams that did play really well in the regular season before everything happened. But like stuff like this, higher seeded team gets possession to start 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarter. That'd be cool. I don't know how much of an advantage that is. I mean, you get the possessions to start, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to capitalize on that possession either. Higher seeded team designates 1 player to be allowed 7 fouls before fouling out. That could be kind of interesting because like a player like Kawhi, he doesn't foul a lot, but then he could be super aggressive on the defensive side. Or you wouldn't have to worry about your center being in foul trouble, so we could attempt a lot of blocks on the defensive side. So that'd be pretty cool. Higher seeded team receives 1 extra coach's challenge. I don't really know. I feel like the ref should be pretty much making some pretty good calls with no fans, no worries. Like, you're just going to have the players and the coach. Like, that's about it. Nothing else really. So you really shouldn't have to do that many coaches challenge in my opinion, but we'll see what happens. Higher seeded team transports actual hardwood home court to Orlando. Cool. Like, I don't really know what that does. Like, you want to see my logo when you're running down the court? Like, all right. And then higher seeded teams gets hotel choice priority. Isn't everyone going to be staying at like pretty much in a pretty small vicinity of like each other? So I don't really think that matters. Oh yeah, I got the other 5-star hotel. Which 5-star hotel did you get? Like, it's just petty, bro. Like, I don't really think that does anything for anybody. But I think these are some interesting ideas. I think they'll come up with something that's cool. Now, this is what's going to be like as we wait for the season to start back on July 31st, and then the dates after the season even ends, like what's going to go on for the 2021 NBA season. So I think this is cool to look at. Training camp is going to be June 30th. July 7th is travel to Orlando date for like, you know, all the players to get there, and then they'll have a couple more weeks to train, I guess, there. They'll have a training camp maybe in their own facility for like a week. The 2019, obviously the season start is back on July 31st. Free agency starting October 18th, which is crazy because the potential Game 7 would be October 12th, and I think the draft was October 14th or 15th. So everything's going to get really crunched together. And then they're targeting a November 10th training camp date for 2020-2021 season and December 1st opening night. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it December 1st. I feel like that's a very short span. I feel like Christmas is more realistic in my opinion. Try to do December 25th, maybe even like New Year's. Try to push it back a little bit because you got to give these guys some time. Like putting them in that small atmosphere in Orlando for 2 or 3 months, and then, you know, the other guys that haven't played in a year almost now, you might as well just make it like Christmas. I think ratings will be really high and it'd be a cool start date and everything like that. But I think that would be the best call than trying to do like a December 1st opening night. So less than 2 months for these guys that were just playing in the finals to come back. Like that's not enough time, in my opinion, and not enough time for free agency, because when free agency drags out, that's when the other free agents get signed later on. It's not just like the big dogs that get signed right away. There's a lot of guys that are important to these teams that get signed months and weeks later after free agency starts. So I think that's something they got to look at too. And now here's the whole reason why the NBA stopped is coronavirus concerns, and then what they would do with coronavirus in the NBA in the Orlando season. So if a player tests positive for the virus, the league's intent would be to remove that player from the team, to quarantine and treat individually, and continue to test other team members as they play on. Now, I think it's going to be very touchy for them to do stuff like that. They also talked about the 65 years up and older coaches kind of having to wear a mask, or maybe not being able to coach on the court, maybe coaching from almost like an offensive coordinator spot in like the NFL where they coach from the booth and stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. I think you got to really be just smart about stuff because there's a lot going on right now with the world anyways. So I think you got to, especially with coronavirus, you got to take everything seriously with those older coaches and stuff because those people are at grave danger. So we got to just do everything smart, and I think that's a good look by the league. But we got to figure this out too at the same time. Like there's certain things we can do and can't do with the coronavirus that kind of contradict each other. So hopefully they could figure this out, and hopefully this doesn't happen that much. Hopefully they clear all the players and everything like that. I know they were talking about like 3 family members per team and everything like that, but I don't really see that happening. It's going to be really tough. It's almost going to be like you're going away from your family for a couple months to finish this season, because that's what we're going to have to do. But we'll see what happens. That was some great news to find out yesterday and today, that the fact that the NBA is going to be back on July 31st, that they figured something out, they nailed down a solution with the teams and the players and the owners and everything like that. Glad it's going to happen in Orlando. Glad everything seems to be going to be safe for the players, hopefully. And I'm just glad that we're going to get basketball back, because as people, we really need a sport, and we need something to be able to watch and do during tough times like this, in quarantine and things like that. And obviously baseball hasn't been able to get their stuff together. So, and especially with basketball being the second biggest sport in America anyways, it's great that that's going to come back. Hopefully football can start on time. They'll just figure out not to play with fans. But on the basketball side, I'm just glad they figured that all out, and then we can get to watch some great basketball games with some great intensity, hopefully. But this has been Next Mic Up. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next video.